All right, welcome. This is the launch, and we are in week 4. I want to remind you why we're here every week, just because it's important for us to all be on the same page as we move forward. But the intention behind these 6 weeks of mentorship are to walk you through the most impactful income producing business building activities through the acronym PIPES, which is very common language within doTERRA, preparing, inviting, presenting, enrolling, and supporting. And so we are in week 4, enrolling. It feels pretty self-explanatory. I think most of us know that in this business, we'll have to enroll new customers, but I want to dive in a little bit deeper, give you a little bit of all of the things that I processed through over the last 7 years of doing the business, where I've seen success, where I've made mistakes, and let you learn from that. I also want to walk you through one of my favorite ways to enroll people here at the end, and I've got a screenshot of that. So we'll move along. So last week we talked about presenting and teaching a class. I just want to be clear, it doesn't have to be a class with a room full of people. A class could be you and 2 other people. It could be you and 1 other person on a one-on-one, and it could be a larger group. But every time that you're sitting down with someone to talk with them about doTERRA and about their health goals and the oils and how they fit into those goals, you have to set yourself up to close, because it, like we talked about last week, it makes 0 sense for you to give them lots of great information and them to not walk away with essential oils. People who show up to classes in this busy day and age are there for a reason. They're typically not just looking for something to do. They're there because they think you have something of value to provide them. And information, while it's valuable, the oils are really the only way to actually get results in their life. So this is a sentence that I'd written out that's so helpful for me to remind them, or to remind myself when I get to this point of enrolling. It should be a very simple and expected process if I've done my job at the beginning of the class or the beginning on the one-on-one and told them my goal is to help you get oils in your home. It doesn't mean that I'm going to like chain you to your chair and not let you leave without buying something, but we're definitely going to talk about the next steps forward. That just makes sense to me, and I want them to understand that and expect that, so it's not a surprise as we transition. Otherwise, you may find yourself at the end of the class feeling like you've got this chunk of class and then you've got this chunk of close, and there's this gap where you're like, and how do we get over here into this awkward space? And it won't be awkward space. It'll be completely fluid if you've started at the beginning telling them what to expect, because your verbiage will just be, like I said at the beginning of the class, I want to help you learn what the next steps are and how to move forward. So we're going to go into that next. Okay. So that transition should be so simple. The way that you're going to help them enroll is to build their confidence that you can guide them to the best kit for their needs. And so this is a part, I don't know if I got this in the homework, but I want to make sure that if this is not familiar to you, the kits that doTERRA sells, that this becomes familiar with you. And it doesn't mean that you have every oil and every kit memorized, but it means that you have at least got this printed out or you've got it written down. But what I think is most important is that you understand kind of some verbiage for each kit and what it generally addresses, what type of person would be interested in a kit like this, because that's actually how I present the kits at the end. It would be really, really boring for me to say, and now we have the Healthy Habits Kit. This has a 5 ml bottle of lavender, a 5 ml bottle of tangerine, a 5 ml bottle of frankincense, a 5 ml bottle of On Guard, a 5 ml bottle of Balance. Like, why would anyone want to sit as I read what is in each kit? What they really want to know is, what, like, is that a good kit for me? What kind of person would benefit from this kit? So I want to give you some of the verbiage that I use, and maybe you can chime in into the chat if you feel like you have really great verbiage that you've used to help explain these kits. But it's very simple. I think the Healthy Habits Kit is a great kit for a beginner who knows they have a need for more of a foundational approach to their health. They know that their gut needs support. They're interested in high level supplements. Maybe they've got some areas of aches and pains, and then they just want kind of a starter sampler of the oils. That's Healthy Habits. Healthy Start is for someone who's looking for more of a medicine cabinet makeover, someone that wants to have natural solutions and remedies in their home right away for sleep, pain, allergies, digestive, and immune system. The thing about the Healthy Start kit is that it comes with a little diffuser, which is actually adorable. And it will be easily transferred from your bedroom to your kitchen or whatnot. But all of the bottles are 5 milliliters. So you'll get about 85 drops out of each of those bottles. I want to jump right away to the Home Essentials kit because you'll notice those oils are exactly the same, but the bottles are 3 times bigger. So the Healthy Start and Home Essentials, same idea, medicine cabinet makeover. The Healthy Start is the small bottles. The Home Essentials is the big bottles. But what you're going to notice is the price is not 3 times more. In fact, it's not even doubled. So, it's important for you to know there's quite a bit of savings in the Home Essentials if your budget allows for that. And then you get a little bit more of a sleek looking diffuser. Speaking of sleek diffusers, that's actually what's in most of these kits. It's called the Laluz and it's awesome. We have it in our bedroom. So if you're looking for more of a medicine cabinet makeover with the Laluz, then you'd go for Home Essentials. If you're looking for just all of the best smelling oils that doTERRA sells, it's the Aroma Essentials. So a lot of people aren't really sure if they'll use the oils internally right away or for natural remedies, but they know they want their house to smell good and they know that they want to start eliminating some toxins in other areas. That's the Aroma Essentials kit. So typically in a close, that's all I would go through. 4 kits is actually almost too many. Notice that I didn't really talk about Home Essentials very much. I'm only talking about the price difference. I think 2 to 3 kits in a close when you're enrolling someone is the max that I would go through. And then you say, now there are other options. So if you feel like what you're looking at here does not fit what you're looking for, then I'd be happy to go through the rest of the options for you. And so, natural solutions would be an option. You could, if they were like, oh, I really like the supplement, but I want the bigger bottles. And like, what do you store your oils in? And like, what about coconut oil? Like they're asking about all the extras, then natural solutions makes more sense. And I always say it's a little bit higher of a budget amount, but it saves you more than any other kit. In fact, you almost save half the cost of your wholesale discount. So that's natural solutions. No, and then no one that has purchased natural solutions has been bummed about that choice. Most people purchase a kit and say, I should have gotten a bigger kit. And then Aroma Touch Technique Training is a brand new kit that doTERRA is selling again. I can't really see a specific reason why you would go through that with a person unless they were introduced to Aroma Touch. And that's why they're interested in those oils. Or if the oils that are in those kits, I mean, honestly, they are like some of my most favorite oils. So it certainly is an option. There's just no diffuser that comes with it. And so if they're brand new and don't have a diffuser, they really need one. So does that help? A little bit of the verbiage there. So 2 to 3 kits. Now, what doTERRA has available now, which is not guaranteed in the future, but very likely, is the Create Your Own kit. And so we're going to talk about that in a few seconds, a few minutes with the link generator. But I just wanted you to see up front. Now, there is one kit missing on here. If you're not familiar with the kits, it's a very, very small kit. It's called the Simple Solutions kit. And we liked that before we had the Create Your Own kit because it kind of allowed a create your own feeling. It came with the Deep Blue, it's still available. It comes with a Deep Blue rub, a bottle of Serenity, a bottle of lemon, and a bottle of On Guard. So obviously really amazing products that we use day in and day out, but so many people, if they haven't been introduced to Serenity or lemon, or they don't necessarily want that. And so we were kind of just using it as a way to like, well, then add on the rest of the stuff you want. And so the cool thing now is we have the Create Your Own kit. So I would say Simple Solutions would be a very rare option that you would offer someone, unless it just so happened that you've sampled those specific oils. They have a very small budget and they need to get started that way. But you'll notice it's only 70 PV. So if you've got a 100 PV incentive, or you are trying to earn points for a founders club or any kind of like incentive trip or anything, those are all focused around 100 PV enrollments. And so I would always want to add at least 130 PV item to that kit to qualify myself, and then sometimes even qualify them for a promotion. So anyway, that's why that's not on here, but obviously I want you to know that is an option. Okay, so as you're closing, words matter. We talked about that during present and inviting. The words always matter. And so I want to just help you get clear and comfortable on what kind of things can I say if it feels awkward to like start the enrollment conversation. And so what I want you to avoid is two questions. Do you have any questions? And what did you think? Because both of those open up an opportunity for them to have the critic of them inside come out. We're not looking for critics or critique. And they normally don't have any questions. When you walk into a sales environment in any store and they say, hey, can I help you find something? What do you say? Nope, just looking. And so you don't want that when you're asking, do you have any questions? They don't even know what questions they have. And so the only time I ask that is when I have an engaged customer who's in front of me and I'm teaching them something like specific. And then it's, do you have any questions on that I just taught you, but not in an enrollment conversation. So, and what did you think? I don't know. I thought you talked too long or too fast, or it's been really cold in here, or that girl was like really annoying. Like that's maybe what they thought. I'm not looking for that kind of feedback, right? So instead, there's a few things that I think you should utilize. Instead of what did you think? I think what a great question is, what did you like best about what we talked about in the class? I also like, what oils are you most excited to try first? So notice that I'm asking the positive ends of those questions. What did you like best? What are you most excited about? On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you to get started with your own oils? And then there's this if I would you conversation that you'll learn a lot about in the Go Pro book if you haven't started listening or reading that. And I think it's really powerful for the invite part of the PIPES acronym. Hey, if I sent you an invite, would you be willing to jump on a class on Thursday? Like I use the if I would you all the time because you're basically asking permission to take the next step forward in the conversation. But I think that works here too. If I would you? So if I went over a couple of options for you to get started, would you be interested or curious to learn more? If I would you, it just gives you permission. Here's a few other helpful starters that I think help transition really service minded into those conversations. So if you could, or I'm curious, I'm wondering, I am curious constantly, you guys. Don't laugh at me when I'm in the next conversation with you and I'm saying I'm curious, because I say it all the time because it just gives me permission to move forward without sounding like I've got an agenda. Tell me about or describe for me. So I'm going to see if I can come up with an ending to all of those. So if you could solve 1 to 2 issues with the oils that we went over tonight, what would those be? Health issues. If you could solve 1 or 2 health issues with the oils that I went through tonight, what would those health issues be? I think that's such a great question. So I'm curious, if I went through a couple of ways to get started with doTERRA, do you think that you'd be able to do that? Like, do you think you'd be able to take a step forward tonight towards that? I'm wondering, what would I be wondering? I'm wondering what you liked best about the class. Or, okay, so tell me about, maybe you know a little bit more about their symptoms because you've sampled them. So tell me a little bit more about the digestive concerns that you have. Tell me about what it's like when you experience them. I want to know if what I'm recommending is specific to some of those situations. Or describe for me, honestly, describe for me what it feels like to having dealt with what you're experiencing for as long as you have. What would it be like if this went on for another 1 year, 3 years, 5 years? We talked about that last week. What I want you to know with all of those questions is this little part on the side. It says objections. That's what we're all worried about, right? Objections come from the things they think are unnecessary. So all of these questions, you want to move them towards what is necessary in their life. What is probably not necessary is like an oil that smells good, unless that is really necessary. I've had one customer who was just like, all I want is for my home to smell amazing. Every time people walk in, I want them to go, your house smells amazing. And I know I can't use candles. So that's what she felt was necessary. So in that case, I could direct her towards just talking about aromas. But in most situations, people, what they find necessary is to avoid pain, avoid suffering, avoid wasting money, avoid those types of situations. And so that's what you want to be working towards with those questions. So I like this question at the end too. If essential oils were able to help you resolve at least 1 to 2 issues you're experiencing in your health right now, would you be willing to consider my best recommendation for getting started? Every time a person walks into a provider, specifically a medical provider, they're expecting that professional's recommendation. And so I know you're not a medical provider. Most of you don't have medical degrees, but that doesn't mean that you aren't an expert in essential oils. And what makes you an expert is that you understand your product and you use it yourself and you've gotten results that you can speak of. And so when you're giving your best recommendation, it's based on your experience or it's based on your resources. And we'll talk about this next. But this makes you an expert. Okay. You don't have to have experience. I've never used oils for shingles. I've never had shingles, but I am an expert on using oils for shingles. And I could give my best recommendation for shingles for getting started just because I have this resource. So I want you to know that and believe that, but that's what they're looking for. And a lot of people need someone to help them take the next step forward. How many of you have something on your to-do list in your home or your life outside of doTERRA that you just haven't gotten done yet, but you're going to do it? You will get it done, but you haven't done it yet. Am I the only one? Yeah. So for me this week, it was painting the walls. We installed 2 new doors and I needed to paint around them so that my husband could put the trim on. And I told him I was going to do it on Saturday. Yeah. On Saturday. And yesterday he goes, how'd that paint go? How'd that painting go? And that was what I needed. I knew that he was going to ask me again today when he got home how that painting went, like every single day. And so I just did it this morning. I put on a movie for my daughter and I literally painted all the walls in my house. Not all of them, but I touched up all of them. Anyway, my point is, I'm going to get distracted. I'm going to lose my point. Anyways, the reason I got that done is because someone followed through and helped me take the next step. And part of it was just like sitting on the top of my shoulder saying, hey, get it done. And I'm not advocating that, but there's so many things that people actually really want to do and have the best intentions of doing. And they just need someone to follow up with them, remind them, help them take the next step forward and make it easy. So that's what your job is in the enrollment. Lots of times we think that when people go silent or they aren't ready to just move immediately, that they're not interested. And a lot of times it's because they have good intentions and they just have questions that you need to help resolve for them. An oil that I think you should use when you're in these conversations is wild orange. It's the #1 oil I think that should be passed around in a class. I've only had maybe 2 people in 7 years tell me they don't like the smell of wild orange. And they needed it because they weren't happy people. So either way, but wild orange is the oil of abundance and it inspires solutions for problems and issues. And that's what you want them feeling like. That's what you want to be feeling like is we have solutions for these problems and these issues. And so let's talk about it. So bring everything back to their top priority. We're kind of already talked about this, but that's how you avoid the objections, right? We want to show them the solution to their challenge and put it into their hands. People aren't interested in $150 worth of oils, but when you put that in the frame of eliminating headaches or muscle pain, $150 doesn't sound like a lot of money because this problem is so much bigger than $150. A whole box of oils that they don't know how to use, that actually sounds like a lot of money, $150. So that's what we're talking about here. This is my opinion, but I think that the Essential Life book is key in the close. I don't know why you'd show up to a class or a one-on-one without an Essential Life book. This sells the oils for me. I literally flip it open, even if I know the answer and what I would recommend. And I just say, I'm just curious. I want to make sure I'm on the right track with what I'm going to recommend. Okay, coughing. Yeah, breathe. That is what I was thinking. That's their first recommendation. And then they go, oh, well, cramps. I have cramps too. And then down here it's cuts and over here is constipation. And like all of a sudden their eyes are open and they're watching you be empowered with this resource. And then likely they want this resource. And then you can say, well, I'll help you get one. Or maybe it's a free gift for getting started with a certain size kit or whatever. But the Essential Life book is super key, mostly because it's keeping you focused on their top priorities in their health. Okay. And it's less about the oils specifically. So we're selling the results that the oils bring, not the oils themselves. And then here's the key thing. I saw this in my chiropractic work, and I see it all throughout doTERRA. So many of us get caught up in prejudging the financial situation of the people that are in front of us. And I want to tell you, there are wealthy, wealthy people that drive crappy cars. Okay. There are poor people that live in very, very big houses. So what we're seeing on the outside is a very poor reflection, first of all, of what someone's financial situation is. And second of all, it's none of your business. It's none of my business what they can afford. It's really important that we don't make that decision for them. Let them tell you that they don't have the budget for that kit. Don't make their recommendations based on what you think they can afford. And I think that's why we liked the Simple Solutions, because it felt a little safer. It's like, who doesn't have $100, right? But when we get into the other kits, it's like, oh, Natural Solutions. Well, my budget doesn't allow for Natural Solutions right now. So there's no way anybody else could afford that kit. And that's just really not true. I sold a Natural Solutions kit to a 23, you couldn't have been older than that, 23, 24-year-old guy, single guy. He just wanted it all. He didn't want to make multiple purchases. And I was like, never thought about that. And if I wouldn't have even offered that as an option, like, he wouldn't have even known that it was an option. So anyway, please don't prejudge people's financial situations. I know it's challenging to do that, to tell your brain, but they are in charge of what they can spend, not you. Okay, here's one of the last things I want to go through you. And it's one of my favorite features when I'm enrolling people, and it is the link generator. Is anyone using this or has used this? It's genius. And what I love about it is you can actually create links ahead of time and they don't expire. The only way they would go wrong is if, like, there was a product that got discontinued maybe, or something like that, but otherwise your links can stay active. So you can create links to enrollment kits according to your favorites. You could put your favorite kits in a link. You could put what I'm going to do, and I'll tell you why I'm going to do this on a different call in the first of the month, something that doTERRA is rolling out, and I want to have a link available for that. But I'm going to go through my home and look at what are the actual oils and products that I'm using every single day without fail. I want an everyday use kit for people that are like, what do you use every single day? It's this, and it's something that I can just send to them that could be added to their loyalty rewards order, or it could be used as an enrollment kit. And the reason why this is so great right now, even more so, is because as soon as that link hits 150 PV, doTERRA gives them a free membership right now. So this is a screenshot. I went in and put all of the oils and products from the pain study and the oils from the digestive. I was thinking Terrazyme was in there. This screenshot isn't showing it, but anyway, I was just trying to fool around with the oils from the studies, because I want people to be prepared when we get done with the oil study. I want to have a link that I can just say, oh, well, here's all of the products from the pain study. And I know you're interested in the products from the mood and mental health or digestive or whatever I had here. Here's a link. And this is what it looks like when they open it up. It has your name at the top. It says your order, and it'll show, especially if there's 150 plus PV in there, that they're already getting free shipping and free membership. And literally all they have to do is click that purple button, proceed to checkout, put in all of their information, which they know. There is no difficulty in that. They know what their name is, their address is, they know what their card number is, and they check out, and you've enrolled them. Super, super simple. Now you can also enroll people by going to your back office in the same way, doTERRA.com, logging in, clicking your account, and then there's actually a line that says enroll a new customer. And so you can do it that way, and it'll bring you to the same page where you choose what they want to order, and then you click continue, and they can put in all their information while they're sitting there with you. But the link generator is so great, especially for enrolling people who don't live next to you, who want to go home and show their husband, who need to think about it. I mean, it still requires some follow-up, right? A lot of people have really good intentions of painting their walls this week and need someone to follow up with them and say, did you get that done? How did that go? And so you'll still have to follow up with a link generator. It's a little bit less straightforward than walking them through the enrollment right there, but it's awesome. It's really, really awesome. So I want you to play around with that, and this is how you'll get there. So link generator, you'll click sign up. There's an option where there's other options, like if you want them to purchase retail or you want to just send them some information. I don't really ever use those, just the sign up, and then you get to choose wholesale customer or wellness advocate. I can't think of many reasons why I would choose wellness advocate unless they are ready to start the business immediately. They've already maybe gone through a membership, or sorry, a business overview or attended a business class, and they know they want to be a wellness advocate. Otherwise, I'd almost always enroll them as a wholesale customer because they always have the option to upgrade. And then from us, our perspective on the back end, we have way more options as far as placing them. You select their kit and their products, and then you generate the link. I typically convert that super, super long link to a short link just so that it doesn't look like I'm sending them somewhere crazy. And then I copy that URL, and you can put it in an email, you can put it in your text, you can put it in a Facebook Messenger. It can go in a lot of different places. So here's the last part that I'm going to end with here. It says investing in your self-development. Every sale has 5 obstacles: no need, no money, no hurry, no desire, no trust. Zig Ziglar was one of the most successful salesmen in the US. He went on to be a motivational speaker. Anyway, I loved this quote when I came across it today because I can tell you, I can probably put a name to every person who hasn't enrolled in my history of doTERRA because I wasn't able to create a need. They didn't have any money. There was no reason to really hurry to make a decision because it didn't really hurt that bad, or I hadn't created a big enough why. They didn't really have a desire, or I hadn't built enough trust. And so when you think about all of those obstacles, think over my pipes action. How do I eliminate those obstacles? Because there are ways to do that. There's ways to eliminate those. And we've talked about a lot of those over the last 4 weeks. So anyway, I hope that's helpful. So here's your week 4 assignment and challenge. I want you to create a few sample link generators with your favorite products and kits. I don't have that in there, but if you need to get a printout of the kits, please do that. For a while, I had them printed out and laminated so that I could just hand one. I don't love having printouts that you just send with people because those just end up in their cars or their piles of papers at home, and it doesn't actually take action. Something that they can look at, or something that I can text them so that they can be in communication with me. Just a bunch of handouts typically doesn't work. But practice how you'll transition from your class or a one-on-one to a closed conversation. Maybe you even just saying some of that verbiage out loud, just to the wall, to the mirror, will help build your confidence in how simple those words roll off your tongue and how easy it is. And then write out maybe up to 5 objections that you're worried about hearing, and what would be your resolution to them. What will you say if they feel like they don't have the budget for that? Do you have something you can offer that works within their budget? Maybe you're offering for them to host a class to earn money from the Fast Start to go towards an enrollment kit. Maybe they need to talk with their husband, and your resolution is, no, I totally understand. Are you open to me following up with you in a couple of days to see what he says? Or whatever it might be. So a resolution doesn't mean that it's an argument with them. It's assuring them that, oh, for sure, we'll find a resolution to that concern. And then your challenge would be to invite someone you've been sampling to enroll this week. Some of us have people that are ready to enroll, but we're delaying that conversation because we just don't know what to say to get back into that conversation. And so hopefully I've given you some ideas this week. All right, we're almost done. Next week, we're going to cover the next part of the acronym S for support. It's probably the most important. I just said that probably with everyone, but the reason I think support is so important is because it's the one piece of the acronym that's really centered around the residual income part of our business. It's what is the biggest part of your check long term. Everything up to that is all just typically seen in the Fast Start. The support generates the residual. And so you've got to have a plan for how you're going to support your customers, teach them how to get on LRP, keep them educated and all of that. So, all right. That's it for this week.